Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Brunch with the Fellas, bringing you the latest trending topic, news, and entertainment. I'm your host, Chef Erol Pearl at DBCHEFTV. Make sure to go ahead and like and share this video. Also, subscribe to the channel so when I go live, you never miss an episode of Brunch with the Fellas. Tonight, y'all, we talking about, it's a bunch of stuff going on out here right now in these streets. We got the NBA dealing with the mob. We got SNAP benefits being, and I mean, that's wild right now. I think that's one of the biggest topics out here that we see that's going to affect a lot more people. The NBA thing, they pretty much got everybody jammed up who they got for that, and but we gonna get into it though. We gonna check out some of this stuff that's going on, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on it. And just how I'm seeing things. And then we got Gucci Mane. Recently did some interviews dealing with some mental health things. And for real, before we get into that, because that's what we're going to get into first tonight. Before we get into that, I want to shout out Gucci Mane. Being a veteran, I know so many people, I have so many friends, and even myself deal with mental health issues. So, mental health illnesses, disabilities, however people want to call it. And I think that is one courageous, to be that big of a celebrity and come out and talk about it, how you even talk about it. I think it's also real beautiful that he got his wife right there beside him, helping him cope with it and deal with it, and she's able to share her experiences too, So, we doing the same thing, man. Like I couldn't get through a lot of the stuff that be trying to, set me off or trigger me, if it wasn't for my wife and the things that she does to help me cope with that stuff too. So, shout out to Gucci Mane and his wife, Keisha.
Gucci Mane is opening up about his mental health. After the rapper, whose real name is Radrick Davis, revealed in his new memoir earlier this month that he's living with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, he's now giving more insight into his diagnosis, detailing the moment he realized he needed to get help during an October 20th appearance on The Breakfast Club.
When I had an episode in like 2019 or 2020, around COVID, and that was just like after that I was like, man, I gotta really just hold myself accountable and take care of my health. I don't never want to have an episode again. I'm like, I'm gonna see a therapist. If I had to take medicine, I kind of like threw the towel in, like, what I need to do to get better. I just didn't never want to have that happen again. And then my wife was pregnant with my little boy, and I'm like, I don't never want this. I don't want to raise a family and then my mental health gone. What if I have an episode I can't come back from? You know what I'm saying? So I just like starting to do the work and like start seeking the help.
Gucci, who shares 4-year-old son Ice and 2-year-old daughter Iceland with wife Keisha Kior, goes on to share he hasn't had an episode since his kids were born, citing his role as a father as the motivation to continue taking care of his mental health.
I'm trying to tell you something. I'm pausing right there, then we're going to go back to Gucci Mane. But he said that, one, he got his children, he got his family, and then he also looked at himself. Because that's where it started at. It started at looking at yourself like, damn, I really got to hold myself accountable for when I be acting a certain way. Then I also have to keep myself in a place where I distance myself from the foolishness, because how you could be triggered, and it's really bad for them. It's going to be bad for you, but people got to know they self and know how, how they will, how far they willing to go. And then sometimes it's uncontrollable because of your disability. you know, or of your mental health illness. You don't really know. You don't know if that's you or if that's your mental health illness taking over that situation. So, you know, shout out to him for having that, for saying, you know, my babies, I gotta be there for my babies. You know, and I don't want them to be affected by that, by not having me there.
Cannot leveling my kids see me like that, and I can not be where like I'm not on point to be needed to handle the business of raising the baby. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like I get them up for school every day. I can't be in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? My little boy, he can't even stand a day without me. He like, Dad, I miss you when I leave. So I just want to be on point for my kids.
Yeah, Gucci. Shout out to Gucci, man. He said he want to be on point for his babies. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let us know what y'all think in the comment section about that down below. What we got right here? Let's see what we got. Put this up. Yeah, getting that scrolling off. Right now, y'all, we got 15% off merch on the DBCHEFTV network. Y'all can go to www.dbcheftv.com right now and hit the gift shop link. Actually, the link is in the description of this video, so you can go directly to it. And also, with this next story that we get ready to get into, my brother Ali Dawudel at BK Soul Farm, y'all go check him out. He has a book called 10/16/160 Self-Sustainability. And what we about to, you know, what we about to embark on with this government shutdown, and people now having a lot of concern of how they're gonna eat. You know, his book is a tool. His book is a tool. You know, we go to Home Depot, Lowe's, we buy tools, we buy hammers and saws and, you know, all the other stuff we need, little electrical devices and carrying on. We buy all that stuff so that way, you know, we can get to work, we can get something built. So having that piece of literature, everybody know how to read when that balance hit that card. Everybody know how to read, log in or go to the website, check their account, read the little, everybody know how to read that letter that came that said you ain't gonna get shit, right? So use that same level of energy, that same ability that you got right there. Go get that book and then start doing what's in it, okay? Because then when things like this hit, you know, you might be like, I ain't sweating that shit at all. You know, I got some things growing. I got some vegetables growing. I'm secured. You know, I'm sustainable. Because they do say it's temporary, but who knows how long temporary is. You know, I think unless except for the other people that have been in the military longer than me, I think I have waited to get off of work more longer than most people have even worked. Okay? What I said is I have waited to get off. It's called waiting for liberty. Till they make the pipe. Okay? You could sit there for an hour, 2, 3. That could be every day, just waiting to get off of work. And you already been in there since like 3:45. Okay? So with that amount of discipline, that amount of patience, being able to do that, and that amount of discipline for people to get up early in the morning and go where they got to go to make things happen, you grab that book and take a look, and you will find a peace of mind. And you'll find some shit to put on your plate, you know, to keep something on your plate. Because don't nobody like to be worried about what they're going to eat. But let's go and check out what people are saying. And it's a young lady I've been seeing. I was watching. I had to go and find it and pull her up here because she's been going viral. And I like stuff like that. What I was just saying, you kind of go to her because it's like, you viral. elevate off that, baby girl. You know, like everybody know who you is. Everybody using your clip. Everybody got something to say about you. Everybody got something to talk about you. You know, this way maybe the next time they see you, you won't even be talking about no SNAP benefits, because you be done snapped into a whole new person, got a whole different bag, and now you ain't worried about the shit you talk about in this clip though. But we gonna go ahead and rock out. Watch this clip.
Straight up like this, I just got that text that the link is definitely cut the fuck off for November. Y'all better stay the fuck out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with cards and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you want motherfuckers start looting, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke as bitch like Jock, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit up, swipe my link card, as soon as that bitch say ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the fuck out. And I'm gonna have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your ass so hard you gonna think a Jet 2 holiday hit your bitch ass if you think I ain't finna walk out that store. And please follow me to that motherfucking car if you feeling motherfucking froggy, bitch. You ain't gonna make it back to your motherfucking position at that fucking Walmart store. I'm telling you.
Oh man, that shit sound funny. I'm laughing, y'all, but that shit ain't funny, because there's a lot of people who feeling like that, and that's a bad look. You know, that's a bad look. I've seen so many things across the net where people would talk about it, and everybody get their own opinion, so I'm gonna give mine. Having to depend on a thing is okay, but you have to understand what you're depending on. Is it an entitlement? And then people have to understand the difference of what an entitlement is. Is it a benefit? Is it compensation? Like, all these things have different names. So you have to find out if they can be adjusted or if they can be cut. It can't just be, I'm having another baby, so give me some more money. Or it's free money, so let me just go get it. And you don't even know what you're signing up for, because not knowing what you're signing up for puts you in a situation like this, where now you're willing to go to jail, you know, behind trying to eat. I understand it. That's been plenty of people's mindset. Like, I gotta eat, so I gotta go out here and hustle, get it any way I can. That ain't nothing new. Everybody know about that. The thing is that my sister, you have children. They depend on you. Okay? So you owe it to yourself to do better for them. I ain't gonna sit here and just tell you, you know, that crash out move. I ain't gonna agree with that. I'm laughing, but I'm laughing at you though. I'm keeping it a buck. I'm not laughing with you. Okay? And that's not to be disrespectful. It's because instead of threatening to do all these things, you know, where is the, I don't want to be in this type of situation again. So what do I need to do so to make sure that I don't be in this type of situation again? That's big mama right there. That's, you know, that's the boss babe. That's what that type of thinking is. You know, they say that leveling up and big girl draws type shit. Because you're thinking about, I don't want to have to put my babies in this situation. That's who depending on you right now. Because clearly, I don't think she would be going like that if it's a daddy somewhere that's going to make sure that his children are eating. You know, so just putting that together right there. If I'm gonna laugh at you, I'm still gonna build you up. You know, I laugh with you at the same time, but You know, I don't like to see my people looking like that, and I ain't got it to just change the world to give everybody this or that. But, you know, I can give you something that's on my mental that ain't just looking at you, looking down on you. You know, I love the fact that you're gonna ride for your babies, but at the same time, like, then when you get locked up, who gonna ride for them that much? Do you know somebody else that's gonna ride for them that much while you in? If you get locked up for what you talking about, you doing? You know anybody that's gonna love your babies the same way that you care for them? I'm just saying, you know, make that shit make sense. But moving right along, we got the elders too, because this whole thing, we're gonna get into a video too, y'all, that's gonna bust the whole thing down and explain everything that's going on with the shutdown. We got a person from the USDA in the clip and everything, and they gonna, you know, give a little synopsis of actual federal. That boy sound like what's that? Elmer Fudd and shit. But they got a federal FDA, Food and Drug Administration representative that's gonna be on there, and she gonna be breaking it down. And she's furloughed right now, so she ain't even getting paid. She with everybody else. But let's go ahead and get into what the elders talking about.
These people that we are talking about who have an audacity to cut how we live and how we eat. Who are these people? Are they real people? Say, we're going to cut this, we're going to take this. Do they eat? Are they well off? They cannot be older adults and expect for us to exist and do this and do that. I would like to know who they are.
Man. Well, you know, we always respect the elders. I wasn't moved by the speech, but I understand where she's coming from. So, you know, young people gonna have to get together and gonna have to feed the elders, man. We got a whole thing where people don't respect elders no more out here. In a perfect world, our elders shouldn't even be having to look for these people for no substance. You know, when she talking about who are they, where the people at, and this and that and the third, like, we don't have communities, we just got neighborhoods. We not building enough with each other. We not being kind to each other, forgiving each other for our own imperfections, you know? So we got a lot of work to do on ourselves as a people. But, you know, meantime, in between time, I would recommend for some young people to help those elders right there find out their status, because they may not be reading what's going on, but they, you know, when somebody thinks Trump did some stuff and this ain't in his defense, you know, everybody turn up. So whether they turning up for him or they turning up against him, everybody got something to say. So that's usually what's going on. And that sound like kind of like what that was. Because I mean, if our elders are voting, then they should know who's on that ballot. They should know who they elected, who did you elect, who did you select, you know? And then if your person didn't get in, then we don't even be encouraged to study politics. It's like, oh, we lost, then we just lost. Like, oh no, who got it? Who got the seat? Let me see what they on. If you that much into it, if you care that much. If you don't, then I guess, you know, I'm an asshole with an opinion too, right? So out here, y'all remember this? Kids, they say, remember kids, if you see someone shoplifting, no you didn't. Ooh yeah. They got Macho Man Randy Savage right there. So that's the mindset right there. That's the mindset in the streets. And it was some more stuff, but you know, we're gonna run this ad at the end of the show. Make sure y'all go and get 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by the guy Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. Make sure y'all go get that, because it's a step for you not to know what, like what he say in it, for you not to know what responsibility means. That's irresponsible. You know, and all them situations will be heard from the young sister to the elder sister. They not helpless. And if they could say all that, then they could do something too. Just tell me I'm lying. I'll stop. Let's get into this other clip right here.
USDA Food and Nutrition.
Let's see real quick. Here we go.
It comes after the USDA sent out letters saying that if the lapse in appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay full benefits next month. That would leave roughly 1 in 8 people in the U.S. without food assistance, according to the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities. Ellen May, currently furloughed from her job at the USDA Food and Nutrition Service, is also a chapter president, representing her coworkers at the Northeast Regional Office. Ellen, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
The impact of the shutdown on SNAP benefits comes on the heels of President Trump's mega bill. It already cut the program by more than $180 billion over the next 10 years. Can this program cover the needs in our country? What happens to the 42 million Americans if not?
Yeah, and I just want to start off by saying that everything that I'll say today is my personal view. I'm definitely not speaking on behalf of my agency, speaking as a private citizen here. As you said, there's been lots of reports that SNAP benefits might not go out, and there's a lot of uncertainty about how things and people's food needs will be covered if the money goes out. There's really no certainty about if the food banks are going to be enough to cover all of the needs that people will have if their SNAP EBT cards don't swipe when they go to the grocery store, or if there will be other funds coming in, especially like me as a furloughed worker. We usually know more sitting on the other side, but we really don't know a lot right now since we're all in the furlough.
And the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, that's also known as WIC, is also on the verge of running out of money. It will impact some 7 million low-income mothers, expectant mothers, and children. Are there any resources or emergency measures in place?
So I've seen that the National WIC Association, first at the first half of the month, they announced that the White House had given them extra funding so that people could have WIC benefits in the month of October. And I saw that they released a memo within this past week asking for the White House to take action to do that again. But other than that, there's really no saying if the states will have money to help with benefits keep flowing, or if the people on the program, the pregnant women and their children under the age of 5, will have to turn again to the emergency food system that's already under a lot of strain. One of my members volunteers at a food bank, and recently they said that the food bank opens at 8:30, goes until 11, and by 9:30 we're already starting to run out of some food. So not sure if it'll be enough.
You know, you're in a unique position where you're not only on one side trying to help people get SNAP benefits, but you're also a furloughed federal worker not getting a paycheck yourself. What do you want people to know?
Yeah, it's been difficult for federal workers. We're in all sorts of different financial situations. A lot of my coworkers and members have children, or they have elderly family members that they're in charge of taking care of and helping along, or they have children who they're trying to put through college, mortgage payments, car payments, etc. I myself am in a better financial situation, but really, everybody just wants to go back to work no matter what kind of situation that we're in.
Yeah, everybody just want to go back to work, no matter what kind of situation that they're in. Man, that's a real tough one right there. That's a real tough one. We got the government workers shut down. We got benefits not going out, military not knowing if they're going to get paid. Military going to get paid though. I don't know if the snap is going to happen, but the military is going to get paid. It's crazy. We got, I got friends and relatives that work for the federal government, and they furloughed and stuff like that too. And I mean, I just, without getting too far into it, man, they need to end the shutdown. United we stand, divided we fall. Together we ball. All for one and one for all, right? So that's how the saying goes. But just make sure everybody out there is looking up them food banks that needs it, looking up the church programs, looking up any nonprofits that's going to be giving away food. I wish I had a link, but, I could tell you where to go find some food at, because I done been there in life before, But you got churches that do food drives. You got the pantries. You're going to have to get to the pantry early, though. If you go to contact Goodwill, contact Salvation Army, I don't know where you at, find out. Find out where the food at. I'm sure it's going to be some lodges doing some donations and things like that. I'm sure it's going to be firehouses, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be like where I'm at. But, I mean, how I came up, though, like that's what was going on. I've been in natural disasters, plenty of them, even, ashore, well, here in America. So, when the National Guard came out, they, it was a lot of stuff, a lot of resources. So I don't know if it's this gonna be the same. I can't imagine what that looks like. What that looks like for the government just to say, you know what, so what? Well, we're gonna see November 1st if they don't get their shit together. Cause it's one nation under all, man. Y'all gotta stop that bullshit. People's lives really being affected. And now, for our feature presentation, we got this whole NBA thing. This shit crazy. But we're gonna watch the clip first before we talk about this.
More than 30 sports figures, including NBA coaches and players, all under arrest this morning as part of a years-long sports betting FBI investigation. Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, Terry Rozier, among those arrested for their alleged participation in rigged poker games and insider betting, even involving mafia crime families. FBI Director Kash Patel briefed the public yesterday. Watch.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody. This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. The fraud is mind-boggling. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
Wow. The NBA says this: Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority.
Yeah. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? But we're gonna make it quick. We ain't gonna hold y'all all night. We're gonna keep it light. Man. So the NBA, we're not even gonna really put this all on the NBA, right? It's good for headlines and shit, but we do got these three individuals. So let's keep it to just these three individuals. Now, I don't know what their finances is like. I don't know what their life is, what their lifestyle is like. But I remember back in the day when I had a hoop dream and I got to be around some players. And I heard some things, you know, I heard somebody say that some people play for the mob. I'm not gonna mention who the players' names were that were said that they play for the mob. But what I do know is this. I ain't believe that shit. Not at all. But now, you know, I mean, like that, and that was years ago. You know, years. Okay, I'm talking about I ain't been hoop dreaming in decades. But now for it to come to see, to full tuition, to see it and be like, damn, that's crazy. Like you knew of people betting and things like that and having, but you never would try to like wrap your mind around it with like, well, maybe the person has a gambling addiction. And then because they get in so much debt, now the only way for them to pay the debt is for them to now have to allow their professional business to, you know, to help them navigate paying that debt. And now it just makes it more clear. Like I ain't saying that's what happened with Terry Rozier, where he got into debt and then, you know, now he in debt to a mobster and now he got to start doing all this, you know, throwing games and shit like that. But I'm just saying I could see that if you got a gambling addiction and you just happen to be a pro athlete, I could see how that could happen. I could see how, you know, somebody could prey on you like that and take advantage of it. It appears from what they were saying to be very lucrative, but also very something that's going to get your ass locked up. So then you add on top of now with the scamming of the people. It's just like, damn. You know, you would think a millionaire, you a coach, you a player, like you getting money. You would think that, but that's why I don't pocket watch. I ain't never been no pocket watcher. You know, I don't be caring what people have, but we know that they pay professional athletes more than they pay teachers. We know that they pay professional athletes more than they pay police officers and nurses and military people, you know, some physicians, most physicians, you know, like not all of them. Some of them, you know, you got Dr. Miami getting the bag. Dr. Phil getting the bag too, shit. And he ain't cutting on nobody. He just talking shit like I'm talking shit. So it's definitely one of those things where you just wouldn't think, you know, that people that making that type of money will have to be involved in scamming people. I just wouldn't even think of that. You know, maybe the mob, yeah, because that's what mob has always been known for, you know, committing crimes. So that wouldn't be anything like wow. But to see, you know, those particular individuals, those brothers, you know, it's just another sad day for the blacks in America. Like, god damn, you know, we can't get a break out this motherfucker. This shit crazy. But a lot of this have to do with the choices that we make. So them dudes gonna have to take accountability for the choices that they made. And hopefully they'll be able to do better after they, have to face the consequences of their actions. So the negative consequence of their action, because we know consequence can be a good consequence to something. Look up the definition. Real facts. But yeah, y'all, that's all I have for y'all tonight. I want to thank everybody who pulled up. Make sure to hit that like button, share the video, and also subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it if you do. And everybody have a peaceful, positive, and productive weekend. Have a safe weekend out here, y'all. It's Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to make it back to Monday. Even if you furloughed and you ain't got nowhere to go, you still got to get them babies to school on Monday. You know what I'm saying? If you got babies or you still want to have another day to be able to get your life together, get your life right, figure out your plan, what you going to do, how you going to, not be back in the same situation again. I mean, I don't know, that's the way I think winners think. Something that got you discomforting, you don't want to be in that situation again. That's it. It's different. It's even with back pain. You can get your surgery, you can take your medication, Even with a mental illness. We was talking about Gucci tonight. Shout out to him and his wife, his whole family. You don't want to be in that situation again. You don't want to feel like that. It's the same thing from the SNAP benefits to mental health to making a bad choice, and it's consequences that come with all of it. So y'all go ahead and sip on that like a mimosa. I'm your host, Chef Erol Pearl at DBCHEFTV. Make sure y'all check me out right here on Brunch with the Fellas each and every Friday night at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And to the next one. Peace, y'all.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016-160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Some say that art imitates life, but we say that life is art. So visit the DBCHEFTV gift shop and get 15% off of your next masterpiece of fashion. How do you get there? Simply tap the link in the description. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then Brunch with the Fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak Podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigar Panel, smoking on words like two big nerds, hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.